Today we are going to look at a new change coming up in the 24H2 Windows inside of your settings panel, which gives us possibly a really good feature or possibly a really bad premise of things to come. I don't know exactly which, and the information is still somewhat lacking. But we want to go ahead and have a look at what that new settings panel has to show us. Welcome back to Switch to Linux, and today we are with another Windows Wednesday, where we talk about some of the things going on in Windows which have encouraged me to move to Linux, or in this case, encouraging me to stay on Linux. Of course, an open source software, considering privacy and other factors. And today we're going to talk about a little bit more about those annoying little crap all over the Windows experience, which frankly need to go away. You see, a desktop environment is supposed to be out of your way. It's supposed to empower you to use the tools to get your work done. It shouldn't be annoying you or nagging you or marketing at you. But that is precisely what Windows has done. And we've documented this over the past year. We've talked about the little notifications, which are recommendations. Like, a notification is supposed to notify you of something, not notification, hey, try our crap, or hey, support our distro. Plasma, stop it. All right. The notification box is for a notification. It's designed to draw your attention away for something important, not draw your attention away from what you're doing to be marketed to. All right. We talked about the ads inside of your settings panel, inside of your file explorer. There are new ads inside of the weather application. Curiously, they took them out of Skype. That probably just means that Skype's about to be cricketed on the gravel pit out back, but you never know. Well, today we are going to have a look at a new option that has been spotted by Windows Latest. And so this is a change. So if you go into your settings panel under privacy and security, there used to be a tab called General. Well, they have renamed that General tab to Recommendations and Offers. And so when you open it up, what they're telling us here is the personalized offer option to enable or disable tips, ads, and recommendations based on your Windows activity is there. That's really the thing we want to focus today on, because this is an option that if you turn this off and your Windows computer never nags you or gives you any recommendations, then this is a massive positive in the direction of Windows. If I can toggle a button and my operating system will never show me more recommendations for other services in the operating system, that would be quite amazing. However, the way this is written, notice that it says personalized offers, get personalized tips, ads, and recommendations based on my Windows activity. I interpret that, and I think the way Windows probably will, and correct me if you have actual experience, not a different opinion. If you are an actual insider to Windows and you have actually seen this and have turned this off, please tell me what the exact experience is. But what I think this means is we're still going to offer you things. It's just not based on what I'm doing on Windows. Remember, if you play games on your Windows computer, it's going to offer you, suggest you in the settings app to subscribe to Game Pass if you're not already subscribed. So I imagine turning that off will not recommend you Game Pass in that instance. However, does that mean that Game Pass or that ad spot or recommendation spot completely goes away? What this could mean is that Windows is going to use that now to recommend something else based on what you're doing. So I don't play games, so it's not going to recommend Game Pass, but this Windows system sees that I read books. So use our new ebook app that I don't know if it exists, but hey, now I've fed it into the universe, they'll make and monetize some ebook app or something. So the feature here seems to suggest that are these notifications and recommendations based on your Windows activity, or are they not based on your Windows activity? Because that gaming one was definitely based on your Windows activity. The OneDrive one definitely based on your activity. The question is, are they going to not show you those recommendations at all? Which, if you turn that off and you see no advertisements for any other Windows services, this is a massive win for Windows users. But if you turn it off and it just shows you random recommendations instead of personalized ones, that's kind of the way I see this, because it says personalized offers. Now, I dug and I dug. I was not able to find any information here. I really want to know what's below this caret, because this caret means there's more options underneath this, and nobody out there was able to show what else is behind this. Now, it might just be this is a brand new feature just rolled out, so nobody thought to show us what that is, but nobody is showing us what is under that caret yet. Once again, if you know what is under this caret here, I would really like to see what the other options are down here. That might say, hey, turn on or turn off this, turn on or turn off that. Or is this all based on recommendations? I don't know. But this new settings panel could be really good in case the Windows system will never bother me again, or it could be really bad. It's just going to incessantly bother me, just not based on what I'm actually doing. And that would be really bad, because now I'm going to start getting more notifications for things that I didn't actually want anyway. Because here's a hint, Windows. If I haven't set it up, I probably don't want it. Stop recommending it. Okay, make sure it's there on setup. Make sure there's a spot where I can go to see things I might be missing, but don't be randomly showing it up when I'm trying to do work. I don't want to see a recommendation when I open my File Explorer. I open the File Explorer to find a file. I didn't open the File Explorer to be advertised to. All right? This is simple, but apparently not. So, then the other options, I think these 3 or 4 are the same. Then they actually did change the advertising. It used to be this massive thing, show ads based on my advertising ID. Now it just says advertising ID on or off. Now, again, this is the same thing that phones do. Your Android and your iPhones have had these settings for at least a decade now. This will tie your device to specific ad tracking. If you turn this off, you're still going to get ads. It just allegedly doesn't track you as well. By the way, it still does track you, because it tracks on numerous other factors, just not the phone ID. And if you turn these off, then it will still track you. It'll just do it a little bit different ways. And so that is a new option. Now, here is a side-by-side in the 23H2 and the 24H2. So you can see here that they added the new one to the very top. They moved the advertising ID from the very top to the very bottom and slightly changed the name. And there's 3 in between, I think, that were these 4 in between are effectively the same, but hey, now we have pretty icons before everything, so that's cool. All right, we also have some changes, just other changes inside of here. In the power and baddie was changed to power, and now you'll have a series of steps to go through to decide if your system is running the most optimized, and then we have power options, we have the power mode, we have the plugged in mode, we have the battery saver mode. So there's some new settings inside of there. Now, the other tool that we get that is nice is a new generative AI feature. So the generative AI feature here allows generative AI access to various apps. Of course, you know me, I would turn all that crap off. I would prefer if we do not have an operating system with generative AI features even built into it to begin with. And that is yet another reason why I like using Linux, because I do not have generative AI built into my Linux system at the operating level core. I don't want that there at all. Now, if I want to use such generative AI, there are applications. We've actually looked at some of those. You can pull up the Flatpak repository and see what type of AI features are available on Linux. So if I do want to use such things, I have those as options. I just am not forced into those as particular options. And so in this case here, what we're looking at is some positive changes in this respect. And then up here, this first change, it could go either really positive or it could go really, really negative. And honestly, I'm not sure exactly what the the best option for that might happen to be. So we'll have to wait to see how that looks when it comes out. Now, of course, dovetailing over, because this is a channel about switching to Linux, what is the importance of this? What we're seeing here in Windows is there's been so much feature creep. They're pushing so many features. They want to upsell so much stuff, and we are living in a world that is so inundated with advertising that we don't even think about it anymore. We just accept that it is a way of life. And I want to encourage you to get away from that model, because we live a simple life when we are not constantly bred discontent, because that's really what advertising is. Advertising seeks to breed in you discontent. It seeks to make you think that your life will not be complete until you get whatever this thing is marketing at. It will force you to want to think about things. I mean, it was kind of a running joke in the last couple of videos there. We talked about, I went to the movie theater and saw a movie with a friend, and there were a bunch of ads in front of it. And I were like, first and foremost, I cannot believe how many movies coming up have Nazis in them. Okay, interestingly, like everything in there. We had the Bonhoeffer advertisement. There was one other one. There were two other ones. There were three total out of like 4 or 5 different previews we saw. So there were a lot of things in there, and we were looking at these various things, and, being believers as we are, we looked at it and said, Bonhoeffer, that'd be an interesting movie to see. So now I kind of, the bug is in my ear. I want to go out to the movie theater, see that. There's a couple other movies I said, those might be pretty good to watch. And then there's a few that's like, If it happens to be on some program or something when I'm walking by, I might sit down and watch it, but I don't really care. So the point is that they have put together these advertisements at the beginning of these movies in order to get you to come back to the movies in the future. And I'm okay with that. Honestly, I chose to go watch a movie. I know there's going to be previews, and I'm okay. And hey, now I know there's another movie coming up that eventually I want to watch. And I know there's a few other movies coming up that, whatever. And maybe there was a couple in there that I have no desire to watch in the slightest. But our whole world is driving marketing and advertising. You used to buy your Amazon Prime and it had no ads. That was a feature of Amazon Prime, is no ads. But then they crammed ads in there, and you just have to pay them more to not see the ads. They have the inexpensive Kindle readers. Now, of course, I did a video where I set up a Kindle reader in such a way that I have never seen an ad on it, and I never will, because that thing will never touch the internet. Now, I was told in the comments of that video, I do not know if this is true, I was told in the comments of the video that they have gotten rid of the way I set that up, like you have to do an initial step on the internet. I guess. I don't know if that's true. If you can verify or de-verify that, let me know. However, what they're doing is they're selling you these devices that are constantly marketing to you. And that is a problem, because I do not want to spend, in that case, $80 on a device that they just think that my device I just paid $80 on is constantly marketing. Of course, YouTube is taking a big war against ad blockers, and ads are going everywhere. The problem we're seeing right now is, if you follow my weekly news roundup program on Friday nights, we talk a lot about the malvertising campaigns. Malvertising, it's like nearly every ad is full of malware. It is recommended by the United States governing authorities to run ad blockers because of so much spam, scams, and malware being distributed on advertising networks. And none of these companies have an interest in dealing with it, because if they get those guys that are spending $1 billion in advertising off their platform, that's $1 billion less they have in their pockets. And they don't really care that if you get scammed or malware on your system. That's not their problem. That's your problem. And so what's the best solution? Live an ad-free life. There's a whole campaign for children. It was, I forget the exact name of it, but it was the campaign for an ad-free childhood. We need to come back to that. We need to have a campaign for the ad-free life. And I got news for you. The way I run my systems, I don't see ads. I don't see ads on my computers. I don't see recommendations popping up to try new features or functions. I don't see advertisements inside the programs I watch, because a lot of them are things I locally control on my local network. I don't see ads on websites. I just don't get inundated with ads. I think the only place I have seen a few ads is on Twitter, because I don't have an ad blocker on that particular browser, but it's only used for that particular application. So, whatever. And even those, they're not like unskippable for stuff. It's you scroll through and you see a little thing that says ad up in the corner, but it's completely consistent and in line with the rest of the content, so it doesn't really register. That might be brilliant, that might be bad. I don't know. So the point of all this is that I want an operating system that is not constantly pushing me advertisements and recommendations, whether that's other features by the organization or third-party products they're trying to sell. I don't want any of it. I want to boot up my computer, I want to do my work, and I want to have a place where I'm not going to be bombarded by everybody and their brother trying to sell me everything, because all they're trying to do is sell discontent. And I think that the discontent being sold in our world is a reason our mental illness is on a rise. I don't think it's explicitly because we all stare at our phone screens. There's evidence to say the more you stare at your phone screen, the more mental illness you seem to have. I wonder if that's not because it's much harder to deal with advertisements on your phone screen. But even on my phone, I don't see ads, because I have this Graphene OS system set up in such a way with a really good filtering DNS platform that governs everything on the phone itself at the operating system level. And I just don't see ads. And I live a very content life. And that's why I just take so much of an offense at all and also why I don't do a whole ton of marketing type stuff on here. I don't do a whole ton of affiliate spots. We do some on the weekly news roundup. Occasionally where it's relevant, I'll throw something into a mid-roll video. But for the most part, I kind of want to leave people alone and give you good access to good content without separating out for an ad flow. So if you want to help support the channel, what the art of being a hypocrite right now. Of course, we do make it known there are ways to support the channel. switchedtolinux.com/support. That's all I'll say. And with that, though, guys, Linux empowered me and FOSS software empowered me to live an ad-free life. And I encourage you to install Linux, because you don't have the option to turn off these, which is this turning off all Windows recommendations or just the personalized ones. That's with the advertising ID. It just turns off the personalized ones. It doesn't turn off the ads. It just turns off the personalized ones. It kind of makes sense that the personalized offer turns off the personalized recommendations, not the recommendations in general. But I'm hoping to be corrected when we actually see this deployed in real life. And if you have access to this insider build, please tell me what's under that carrot. I want to know what's under that carrot. That little carrot down there, right? I want to see what's under that carrot. That little carrot. Pull that thing down. Click, 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 click. I want to see what's under that carrot. Let me know. It's going to drive me mad until I know what's under there. With that, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Leave us a like and a comment down below. Or, hey, if you dislike the video, smash that dislike button twice. Anyway, with that, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.